The year was 1920, and the 18th Amendment had been made official, which began the era of Prohibition. What was Prohibition? How did it begin? Well, to start, it all began in the early 1900s. Women all over America had noticed that men had not been focused on the home. Rather, they would spend time in saloons. The men would go to work and then to the saloon. So many women protested against the saloons, especially those who were part of the Women's Christian Temperance Union, which is still active today. It wasn't just women who had sought the means to stop saloons. A group called the Anti-Saloon League were major contributors to see that the selling of alcohol was put to a stop, especially one of the main members, Wayne Wheeler. Wheeler did whatever in his power to make sure that dry laws would be passed. He even drank with politicians who drank just to win by the margin. Many legislators opposed him, but Wheeler drove them all out of office to put a stop to them. Then, in 1920, President Herbert Hoover had approved of the 18th Amendment, making alcohol officially illegal. Once Prohibition was put into effect, alcohol consumption was down 30%. Prohibition seemed like a good thing at first, before it backfired as people found loopholes to still drink legally. People gained alcohol from doctors who had prescribed it as medicine. Many religious leaders could still give out alcohol for their religious practices. Then there were wine-making kits, which were still sold legally. When people sold alcohol illegally, it was known as bootlegging. There would be secret stores or nightclubs that would sell alcohol, known as speakeasies. People had tried putting toxins in alcohol to prevent more people from drinking. Because of this, many died from alcoholic beverages with toxins in them. With all the smuggling of alcohol, crime rates rose. One of the biggest sellers was Al Capone, who had taken over after a man named Johnny Torrio had left him his business. Capone had made about $60 million on his bootlegging and speakeasies. Gangsters from all over would smuggle alcohol from the Caribbean and Canada, or just make some at home. One of Capone's biggest rivals in the bootlegging industry was George Bugs Moran, who was often selling alcohol out of his garage. On February 14th, Capone's gang had dressed up as cops and gunned down several of Moran's men. During an interview with Capone, he had claimed he was not on the scene, rather he was in his home in Florida. An officer named Eliot Ness transferred to Chicago in 1928 to work with Prohibition officers to clean up the practice of bootlegging. Ness had been put in charge of capturing Capone with the help of his squad nicknamed the Untouchables by the public, which a crime drama and movie with the same name had been based on. Ness brought Capone to court for tax evasion. After Capone's attempts at bribery and intimidation, he was found guilty and gained an 11-year sentence. During the stock market crash of 1929, the government were considering allowing alcohol again in order to allow more people jobs and additional sales. In 1933, the 18th Amendment was repealed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt.